Good morning students. Our new topic is DNA replication. So first we have to know what is meant by DNA. So DNA is also called as deoxyribonucleic acid. So it is the genetic material that can transfer the genetic information from one generation to another generation. Another generation means that is offspring. So it is located in the nucleus and mitochondria and also present in some of the cell organelles. This is the basic structure that can transform the characters from one generation to another generation. So here the information of the DNA is stored in the form of code that is called genetic code. This genetic code is made up of bases, that means adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine. So 99% of the DNA bases are same. The order of the bases can determine the individuality of a person. Okay, so first we have to know the history, how the DNA was developed, and the replication and different forms of DNAs and their characters, how can be evolved. That is the history of the DNA. So in 1866, Gregor Mendel finds how parents passes one discrete inheritance structure. So that is we already studied about monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross and their laws also. That means law of dominance, law of segregation and law of independent assortment. So that is first started how the DNA can characterized. After that, in 1928, Frederick Griffith proved that bacteria could change their character by the transformation. So transformation means from the DNA will be transferred from one microorganism, that means one bacteria to another bacteria, that will change the characteristics of the new bacteria. So it was first discovered and proved by Frederick Griffith. So it is also called as a Frederick experiment. So Frederick transformation, it is first discovered in 1928. Okay, then in 1949, Edwin Chargaff discovers that in DNA molecule AT and adenine is binds with two hydrogen bonds and guanine binds with three hydrogen bonds. So here this is also called as Chargaff's rule. So here the base pairing of adenine, thymine and guanine cytosine can be first discovered by Edwin Chargaff. That is also called as Chargaff's rule. In the first year biotechnology, we already study about this all those things. So that means about the Chargaff's rules. The next one. So in 1952, Alfred Hershey and Martha Chase confirmed that DNA is a genetic material. So we called it as Hershey and Chase experiments on DNA. So how the DNA is transformed and how it will give the transformation characters, and they disproved the Griffith experiment, and he started some of the experiments and finally confirmed that the DNA is the genetic material. Okay, so the next one is in 1952, Macaulay Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin found that DNA was at least a double helical structure. So first they found that DNA has double helical structure in 1952, and the next in 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick found that the DNA is made up of two polypeptides, and Watson and Crick model of, we call it as Watson-Crick model of DNA. The bDNA is first discovered, and how the DNA works and how the structure of DNA will be there, that elucidation and that confirmation is given by Watson and Crick. The next, we have to know what are the functions of DNA. So DNA have different functions like replication, encoding information, mutation or recombination, and the next one is gene expression. So first we have to know what is meant by replication. So double helix unwind and acts as a template and forms double helical structure and aids in the form of with the help of DNA polymerase. So here one DNA can rise up into two double DNAs, that is called as replication, and also give a same copy of DNA strands, that is called as replication. The next one is encoding information. That means a codon specifies particular amino acid that will produce a specific protein. That codons and that will be coded by using these nucleic acids. So that is called as encoding information. The next one is mutations and recombinations. So here first we have to know what is meant by mutations. The sudden heritable change in an organism is called as mutations. And the next one is recombination. The combination of two different molecules or same molecules having different characters, that is called as replications. So DNA is play a role in evolution of species. That means giving different characters from one generation to another generation. So DNA can repair itself through the recombination, and mutations occur due to the illegal base pairing. So I already said base pairing is between adenine thymine with 2 hydrogen bonds and guanine cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds. If the base pairing is wrong, then mutations will be occur. And during the coding, genetic coding, if there is any codon is different or the base pair is different, then we will get the mutations. So both mutations and recombinations either beneficial or create genetic diseases to a organism. Okay, then next one, gene expression. So here gene expression means giving specific expression of the gene or producing some of the product, that is called as gene expression. Now the topic is DNA replication. So it is also called as central dogma of life. So here DNA is again converted into DNA, that is called as replication. So here if the DNA is converted into RNA, that is called as transcription. So if the same RNA is again converted into DNA, that is called as reverse transcription. If from RNA it will produce protein, that is called as translation. This is the central dogma of life. Okay, this is the flow chart for central dogma of life. So it is the most important one in the next lessons, like transcription and also in the translation. So when I am saying note the points, you can prepare the notes itself in the home by using these flow charts and these slides. Okay, then next one. So first we have to know what is meant by DNA replication. DNA replication is a biological process that occurs in the living organism, and it will produce the exact copies of DNA itself. It is the basic biological inheritance or the function of a DNA. So it is the most important one to self-replicate or some give up the genetic information and doing some process in our body. Then first we have to know what is meant by replication. It is the process of synthesis of daughter DNA from the parental DNA by the help of the enzyme DNA polymerase. So here by using the DNA polymerase, one DNA can synthesize another DNA by using the parental DNA. That is called as replication. Then next here look at this diagram. This is the diagrammatic representation of DNA replication. So here observe the parental strand which is in some of light blue color. Okay, so it is the parental strand. So from using these parental strand, the daughter DNAs are produced, that are called daughter strands. So by attaching, here observe, uh, adenine is bind with thymine, okay, and guanine is bind with cytosine. In this, these two bridges will form the double helical structure of a daughter strand. That is the process of DNA replication. So here the transferring the genetic information to descendant generation with a high fidelity. So observe here, we have parental DNA which is in red color, that is converted into daughter DNAs. Adding of two different pairs of DNAs and pairing with a parental DNA, it forms one parental DNA produces two daughter DNAs. That is called as DNA replication. So this reaction in which daughter DNAs are synthesized using the parental DNAs as a template. So next we have the replication process. For the replication process, we have three different types of forms. So first one is semi-conservative replication, that is one of the model, and the next one is conservative mode of replication, and the next one is dispersive mode of replication. So first we have to know what is meant by semi-conservative mode of replication. So here first one, observe it, the original DNA is converted into two daughter DNAs which is having new DNA strand, one old DNA strand and another one is new DNA strand, together form one DNA. So here what happened, one parental DNA forms two different daughter DNAs. Okay, next one is conservative replication. So here one DNA strand will produce two different DNA strands. One DNA is completely of parental one, and the next DNA is completely new strands are produced. So here also we produce two different DNAs which having one DNA completely parental DNA and the next one is completely is made up of new DNA strands, and the next one is dispersive mode of replication. So here observe this picture. So here we can observe in each DNA having new DNA piece and old DNA piece. So here by using parental strand, actually here the DNA is dispersed, that means having some of the cuts and gaps in the DNA. That DNA is self-replicated into new DNA. Here each strand having both parental DNA and also new DNA in the patched forms. Okay, that is called as dispersive mode of replication. Dispersive, here dispersive means dispersion of the strand and adding a sum of the new DNA strand. So that is called as dispersive mode of replication. Next one, so each parent strand serves as the template for the daughter DNA and also produces new DNA. So here the DNA strands having both parental strands and the new strands. That means parental means that are old strand and new strand which is generated by the daughter strand. Okay, so here some of the characteristics of replication. So here first one is semi-conservative mode of replication is one of the characteristics of replication, and the next one is bidirectional replication. So here bidirectional means two directions. Okay, so one is in straight forward and the other one is opposite side, that is called as bidirectional replication. The next one is semi-continuous replication, having some of the old and the next one is some of the new, and these are continued in the form, that is called as semi-continuous replication. And next one is high fidelity. So fidelity means having a specific organization, that is called as high fidelity. The next one, so first here we are going to explain about the semi-conservative mode of replication. So here first, semi-conservative mode of replication means the mode of replication which is produced by parental and daughter DNAs, that is called as semi-conservative mode of replication. It is most usually accepted method of DNA replication. So this experiment was done by Michelson and Stahl in 1958. So it is also called as Michelson and Stahl's experiment. So here they taken the DNA into some of the test tubes. So here first he taken the original parent DNA and added into the test tube, and they which containing heavy DNA, that means N15 DNA. It is isotopic nitrogen DNA. Okay, heavy. Okay, so here in the test tube we added N15 isotope and adding the DNA. Okay, here we get all our N15 DNA in the first generation, which having the highest affinity towards the normal DNA. Okay, then next we will take that same DNA into the N15 and N14 test tube. So N14 nitrogen 14 test tube which is immersed in that, and we can added the DNA. So here we get N14 DNA. This N14 DNA is heavy, not heavier than N14 and not weaker than normal DNA. So here now we immersed the light DNA and N15 DNA. These DNAs together we get the hybrid DNA, that is having that is not heavier than N15, not lighter than the normal DNA. So here we get N15 and N14 hybrid DNA. So here after the cross, what we crossed, or after first generation in different hours, so it is immersed in the E. coli grown in the presence of N15. We get a heavy isotope of nitrogen from many generations, and the next step is E. coli is placed in the medium containing only N14, a light isotope of nitrogen, and cells are broken up to extract the DNA and suspended DNA in a casein chloride, that is called a CaCl solution. So during this we can then we will do the centrifugation. So after centrifugation we get in different times. 10 minutes both strands are heavy. In the 20 minutes F1 generation DNA, one heavy and one light strand is formed. At the 40 minutes we get in the F2 generation, two light strands and one heavy strand or one light strand is produced after the centrifugation. Okay, so here this is each strand replicates semi-conservatively. So having the parents in the F1 generation having N14 and N14 DNA, we get in the F1 generation having N15 and N14, and second generation in the 40 minutes we get 3/4 of the generation of only semi-conservative mode. And the next, observe here in the first minute 0 minutes, that is the original DNA. At the 20 minutes we got semi-conservative mode of replication, that means one old DNA and the new DNA. And the second round we got two are completely new strands and two are semi-conservative mode of replicated DNAs. And the third round at 60 minutes we got all completely 3/4 of the DNAs are completely new DNAs, and remaining 1/4 of the DNAs are semi-conservative mode of DNA. So finally this experiment is accepted by all of the organisms. That means almost all the replications are done by the semi-conservative mode of replication. So this is the process is having the base sequences, and we have the replication fork, and how it will be gone, that will be amazed or observed by different scientists, and these are completely accepted by different experimental substitutes. So here we get original strands and newly synthesized strands, and DNA having different types of chromatids we are observed in this. We having the DNA 5 prime to 3 prime directions, and one is 5 prime to 3 prime and the other one is 3 prime to 5 prime. These are added together, we get a new DNA strand. So here semi-conservative replication. Half of the parental DNA molecule is conserved in each nucleic acid and paired with a newly synthesized complementary strand. This is called semi-conservative mode of replication. Okay, the next one, direction of the DNA replication. Actually, we have two directions. So one is unidirectional and the other one is bidirectional. So unidirectional means it will move the origin, from the origin it will move from only one side. Okay, so it will be go that means it will be started from 5 prime to and end with the 3 prime ends. Okay, that is called unidirectional replication. And the next replication is bidirectional replication. So here replication fork will be obtained. So here some of the strands are started from the 5 prime to 3 prime direction, and some of the strands that may be produced from 3 prime to 5 prime, that is called as bidirectional replication. The next one, so replication start from unbinding, and the DNA double stranded DNA at a particular point, that is called ori site or origin of replication, that is followed by the synthesis of on each other, one each other. So here the parental double stranded DNAs are two newly formed double stranded DNAs from Y-shaped structure, that is called as replication fork, that is called as bidirectional replication. The next topic is origin of replication, how the replication will be formed. So here we have some of the sites. Okay, that sites are starting to or going to start the replication, that is called as ori site or origin of replication. So the synthesis, the DNA synthesis is started from here. So here we have the parental strand, so which is having the origin of replication and having the replication complex. From this actually the replication will be started at the 5 prime end. So here at the ori site we have ATGC complexes are heavy and having most probably it having adenine thymine base pairs. So here we are going to start the replication process, which all the additional helixes or all will be started to attached here. Then the primers are going to start attached only in the origin of replication, and all are starting the basis of the replication process will be started in this site. So here how the replication fork will be formed. So here DNA A is one of the gene which recognizes the ori site, that is oricine, we call it as oricine. So here DNA B is a helicase and DNA C joins the DNA. So DNA C we called it as ligase also. So here DNA complex open the local AT rich regions and move on the template to the downstream, further to separate in a pace. So here DNA A is replaced gradually. Then SSP proteins are binds to the complex to stabilize the SSP SS DNA. That means single stranded DNA. So how the primer synthesis will be going. So here the primers are attached to the reside by using the primosome. So this is the basics how the DNA replication is going to start. So here the synthesis of primers on the single stranded DNA using antipase at the substrate in the 5' to 3' directions. So first at the origin site only it will be all can be started. So here we have the basic requirements for the replication. So first one is substrates. So what are the substrates? For every reaction we want some of the substrates and enzymes and also some of the proteins, and the next one templates are the most important. So from the parent plant parent strand we will going to use to add some of the templates that are the primers. These are the most important for going or for starting the DNA replication, and we also want some of the polymerases and some of the enzymes for the replication. This is the basis for the DNA replication, and the remaining how the mechanism is going to done and how the enzymes involved in the replication can be observed in the next section of the class. Thank you.